Good day, everyone. Today, we're going to discuss a fundamental concept in dynamics, which is rectilinear motion. Rectilinear motion is simply motion that takes place along a straight line. It's one of the simplest forms of motion we encounter, and understanding it is key to grasping more complex motions in physics. So, what exactly is rectilinear motion and why is it important? Rectilinear motion is the movement of an object in a straight line, either moving forwards or backwards. The path of motion doesn't bend or curve, it is straight. In the world around us, we see many examples of rectilinear motion: cars on a straight road, a ball dropped from a height, or an elevator moving up and down in a building. Now, let's explore the key principles that describe rectilinear motion in dynamics. So the first principle of rectilinear motion is displacement. This is how far and in what direction an object moves from its starting point. So it can be positive or negative depending on the direction. Displacement is also a vector quantity, meaning it has both magnitude and direction. Second is velocity. This is how fast the object is moving and in which direction. Velocity is also a vector quantity. Positive velocity means the object moves in the forward direction, while negative velocity means the object moves in the opposite direction. Lastly is acceleration. This is how quickly the velocity of the object changes. Acceleration is also a vector quantity. If the object is speeding up, it has positive acceleration. If slowing down, it has negative acceleration. So these are the formulas in solving rectilinear motion. First is Vf is equals to Vo plus A times T. Second, S is equals to Vo times T plus 1 half A times T squared. Third is Vf squared is equals to Vo squared plus 2A times S. We can use these three formulas if acceleration is constant. Lastly, S is equals to V times T if velocity is constant, where Vf is equals to final velocity, Vo is our initial velocity, and A is for acceleration, and T for time. So let's have an example. A car starts from rest and accelerates uniformly along a straight road for 10 seconds, reaching a velocity of 20 meters per second. So before we solve this problem, let us first understand the problem, identify what is given and what you need to find. Pick the right formula. Use the formula that matches the known and unknown variables. Step by step. Plug the values into the formula and calculate carefully. This approach makes it easy to understand and solve problems involving straight line motion. So we have the given. Our initial velocity is 0 meter per second since it states that from rest. Then our final velocity is 20 meter per second and our time is 10 seconds. So rectilinear motion involves motion along a straight line and its dynamics are governed by kinematic equations under constant acceleration. So these are the relevant formulas that we can use in this problem. So to solve this, first let us use the first formula, which is final velocity is equals to initial velocity plus acceleration times time. Then substitute the given. We have here final velocity is 20 and our initial velocity is 0 plus a, since we should find first the acceleration, then multiply by time. So we get an acceleration of 2 meter per second squared. So to get the displacement, we have here the second formula, S is equals to initial velocity times time plus 1/2 a t squared. So substitute the given. Then we have here the displacement of 100 meter. And to verify displacement using the alternative formula, we have Vf squared is equals to initial velocity squared plus 2as. Then substitute the given, we get 100 meters. So this example demonstrates rectilinear motion with uniform acceleration using kinematic equation. So our second example is a ball is dropped from a height of 50 meters above the ground. There is no initial velocity because the ball is simply dropped and not thrown. Assume that the acceleration due to gravity is 9.8 meter per second squared. So the question is, how long will it take for the ball to hit the ground? And what will be the velocity of the ball just before it hits the ground? So this problem involves rectilinear motion because the ball is moving in a straight vertical line. Since the ball is dropped and not thrown, its initial velocity is 0 meter per second. Gravity pulls the ball downward, causing it to accelerate at 9.8 meter per second squared. So using the equations of motion, we can find the time it takes to fall and the final velocity before it reaches the ground. So here's the given. Our height is 50 meters. Our initial velocity is 0 meter per second. And our acceleration due to gravity is 9.8 meter per second squared. To solve the first question, how long will it take for the ball to hit the ground? So let's use this formula. Height is equals to 1/2 gt squared. Then substitute the values, which is 50 is equals to 1/2 times 9.8 times t squared. And then we get our time. So it will take about 3.19 seconds for the ball to hit the ground. So for the second question, what will be the velocity of the ball just before it hits the ground? So we use the formula of final velocity is equals to initial velocity plus g times t. Then we substitute the values. Final velocity is equals to 0 since our initial velocity is 0 meter per second, then plus 9.8 times 3.19. Then we get the value of final velocity, which is the velocity of the ball just before hitting the ground is approximately 31.26 meter per second. So the final answer for the time to hit the ground is 3.19 seconds, and the velocity just before hitting the ground is 31.26 meter per second. So the time depends on how far and how strong gravity pulls it. The velocity gets faster as the ball falls because gravity constantly accelerates it. Using basic motion equations, we found the time and speed step by step. So another example is an elevator in a building starts at the ground floor. Position is equals to 0 meters. It moves up with a constant speed of 2 meters per second for 10 seconds. After that, the elevator stops and moves down with a constant speed of 3 meters per second for 5 seconds. How far is the elevator from the ground floor after it has moved up and down? So, to solve this problem, we need to calculate how far the elevator moves both up and down, and then find the final position. So the first step is calculate the distance the elevator moves up. The elevator is moving upward at a speed of 2 meters per second. It moves up for 10 seconds, so we can calculate the distance it has traveled upward by multiplying the speed by the time. So we have here 2 meter per second times 10 seconds is equals to 20 meters. So the elevator moves 20 meters up. So that's the second step is calculate the distance the elevator moves down. After moving up, the elevator moves down at a speed of 3 meters per second for 5 seconds. We can calculate the distance it moves downward in the same way. So we have here 3 meters per second times 5 seconds is equals to 15 meters. So the elevator moves 15 meters down. In the third step, find the final position of the elevator. Now, we need to find out where the elevator is in relation to the ground floor. We start with 0 meters, which is in the ground floor. First, it moves 20 meters up, so the position becomes positive 20 meters. Then, it moves 15 meters down, so we subtract 15 meters from the 20 meters. So final position is equals to 20 meters minus 15 meters is equals to 5 meters. So the elevator is 5 meters above the ground floor after both movements. So next is if the position in feet of a particle at time t and seconds is described by the function s of t is equals to 3t cubed minus 4t squared plus 5t plus 7. Determine the time at which the acceleration of the function is 0 feet per second squared. So to solve this, the first step is find the acceleration function a of t by either finding the derivative of v of t, the velocity function, or finding the second derivative of s of t, the position function. Since we are given the position function of a particle, we need to find the second derivative in order to find the acceleration function. Using the power rule, we can find the first derivative. First is rewrite the given, which is s of t is equals to 3t cubed minus 4t squared plus 5t plus 7. Then, the first derivative of it is 9t squared minus 8t plus 5. Then, we can find the second derivative by taking the derivative of s prime of t using the power rule again. So we have the second derivative is equals to 18t minus 8. Therefore, the acceleration function is given by a of t is equals to 18t minus 8. Use the acceleration function from the step 1 to answer the question. This may involve substituting a value in for t, or may involve setting a function a of t equals to some value and solving for t. Since we want to find the time when the acceleration is 0, we need to set the acceleration function equal to 0 and then solve for t. So we have 0 is equals to 18t minus 8. Then transpose the negative 8 into the right side, which is it becomes positive. 8 is equals to 18t. Then divide both sides by 18 to cancel out 18. Then we have here our t is equals to 4 over 9 seconds. Therefore, the particle has acceleration of 0 feet per second squared at time t is equals to 4 over 9 seconds. So our next example is a ball is thrown upward from the ground with an initial velocity of 10 meters per second. It moves upward with a constant acceleration of negative 2 meters per second squared due to gravity. How high will the ball go before it starts to fall back down? So in this example, we are going to use the following equation for motion with constant acceleration, which is Vf squared is equals to Vo squared plus 2AD, where Vf is our final velocity, and Vo is the initial velocity, and A is the acceleration, D is our distance traveled, or the height of the ball reaches. So we want to find the height the ball reaches, so we are going to solve for D. We have here our given. Our VO is, or our initial velocity is 10 meters per second. Our final velocity is 0 meter per second. Our acceleration is negative 2 meters per second squared. So the first step for solving this problem is we first plug in the values into the equation, which is our final velocity is 0 squared is equals to 10 squared plus 2 times negative 2d. Then simplify. We have 0 is equals to 100 minus 4d. So to solve for d, 100 is equals to 4d. Our d is equals to 100 over 4. Then we have here 25 meters. So the ball reached a maximum height of 25 meters before it starts to fall back down. In this case, we use the equation Vf squared is equals to Vo squared plus 2AD to solve for the height. The ball's velocity becomes 0 meter per second, at its highest point, which is when it stops going up and is about to fall down. We also use the acceleration due to gravity, which is negative because it slows the ball down as it rises. So the result gives us the height of the ball reaches before reversing its direction and coming back down. Next is a car starts from rest and accelerates uniformly along a straight road. After 6 seconds, it reaches a speed of 18 meters per second. During this time, it covers a distance of 54 meters. The first question is, what is the car's acceleration? Second, how much distance will the car travel in the next 4 seconds? We have two unknowns to solve for, the acceleration and the distance in the next 4 seconds. To solve this, we'll use the equations of motion for uniform acceleration. So the first equation of motion we will use is final velocity is equals to initial velocity plus acceleration times time. So we have the given where our final velocity is equals to 18 meter per second and our initial velocity is 0 meter per second and our time is 6 seconds. So to solve for acceleration, from the equation of final velocity is equals to initial velocity plus acceleration times time, we know our initial velocity is 0 meters per second and our final velocity is 18 meters per second and our time is 6 seconds. Now, plug in the known values. We have here 18 is equals to 0 plus a times 6. So we should divide both sides by 6 to get the acceleration of 3 meters per second squared. So to find the distance traveled during the first 6 seconds, now that we know the acceleration, let's use another equation to find the distance covered during the first 6 seconds. The equation for distance with constant acceleration is d is equals to VO times t plus 1 half AT squared, where d is the distance traveled during 54 meters and our initial velocity is equals to 0 meters per second and our acceleration is 3 meters per second squared and our time is 6 seconds. Now, plug in the values and we have d is equals to 0 times 6 plus 1 half times 3 times 6 squared. So we get the distance of 54 meters. So the car travels 54 meters during the first 6 seconds, which matches the given information in the problem. So to calculate the distance traveled in the next 4 seconds, now we need to find how much distance the car will travel in the next 4 seconds, assuming it continues to accelerate at the same rate of 3 meters per second squared. First, let's find the new speed of the car after 10 seconds, since it's already been 6 seconds, and we are adding 4 more seconds. So we can use the same equation as before to find the final velocity after 10 seconds. And we have final velocity is equals to initial velocity plus acceleration times time. So the initial velocity at the start of this next 4 seconds period is 18 meter per second, since that's the speed after the first 6 seconds. And our acceleration is 3 meters per second squared, and our time is 4 seconds. Then plug in the values. We have final velocity is equals to 18 plus 3 times 4 is equals to 30 meters per second. Now, we know the car's final speed at the end of 10 seconds is 30 meters per second. To find the distance traveled during the next 4 seconds, we use the equation for distance. D is equals to initial velocity times time plus 1/2 times acceleration times time squared. For this part, our initial velocity is 18 meters per second. The initial speed for the next 4 seconds. And our acceleration is 3 meters per second squared, and our time is 4 seconds. Now, plug in the values, and we have d is equals to 18 times 4 plus 1/2 times 3 times 4 squared. So the car will travel 96 meters in the next 4 seconds. So the final answers are the car's acceleration is 3 meters per second squared, and the car will travel 96 meters in the next 4 seconds. So, to recap, rectilinear motion is motion along a straight line. In this motion, we focus on displacement, where the object is and how far it has moved. Velocity, how fast the object is moving and in which direction. Acceleration, how quickly the object is changing its velocity. By understanding these principles, we can predict and explain the motion of objects in the world around us. Rectilinear motion is the foundation of more complex types of motion, so mastering these concepts is crucial in studying dynamics.